Hello, my dear people. My name is Seba. I love to think that I make people question their reality, or I like to think that I make people question their reality. And today I'm gonna channel some information from my higher self about drugs, and actually tell you, or tell me my own perspective about drugs. Okay? So the question is, are drugs good or bad? Well, the thing is that in the universe there is no good or bad. These are just subjective standards that we have given ourselves by the fact that we were educated, right? By our parents, by our teachers, by schools. But in actuality there is no good or bad. Everything is relative. The universe operates in a relative mode, right? So let's talk a bit about drugs. A good friend of mine told me this, or asked me this. So why are you doing drugs? Because your reality is already nice, you are already feeling great without drugs, and you want to improve it, like getting a sense what it means to go to the next level? Or does your reality suck and you do drugs because you really feel like you need to do drugs? I experienced both. My reality sucked at some point, and I needed an emotional boost, and I was fine with it, okay? And it happened the other way too. My reality was nice, and I chose to do some drugs because I wanted to see what the next level was, right? So while drugs can increase your perspective and give you a view of what it means to perceive a different reality or jump into a different dimension, they can also, and they almost all of them are damaging your brain and your emotional field, right? So let's think about it. Drugs can be both positive and negative. For the moment, and in what I have experienced, the energy that you are feeling is somehow bliss, right? But at the same time, after one day or some hours after you did it, you are somehow feeling depressed and anxious, and maybe some rush of thoughts come into your brain, right? So let me think about it. There can be a positive side of drugs too, right? Like drugs like LSD, mushrooms, these are called somehow spiritual drugs and are good if you are moving into a higher dimension, into the fourth or fifth dimension, where there is actually no separation, where everything is connected, right? But at the same time, I would recommend you to try them, but at the same time not get attached to it, right? I read an article yesterday that said that one pill of MDMA can actually cause you deep emotional and health wounds, right? So drugs, and this is an important key to understand, is that drugs are actually in correspondence with your personality, right? So what you are feeling on the inside is actually increased by drugs, right? They are a boost of your emotional field, and it all depends on your personality, right? I have been kind of sensitive while I did drugs, and that somehow pushed me into some bad trips sometimes. I've also had bad trips, but just a few of them, so don't really worry about me, right? And the intention that you have before you are taking drugs like LSD or mushrooms is very important, because your brain and your subconscious will react to it, right? So if you are trying it, have the intention of feeling well, right? Get some friends around you, get some cool environment like going into the forest, or I don't know, see some art at the same time. Yeah. So doing drugs, it's your own choice, you have free will. I would recommend it, and I wouldn't recommend it at the same time, because it can get kinda addictive. I'm over with it. I'm kinda over with it, because a great YouTuber said that drugs can only help you until some point, right? Then if you want to grow spiritually and really open your third eye, for example, or open your chakras, you have to go clean. You really have to go clean, right? Because they will stop at some point. Drugs will stop at some point, and you won't really grow anymore, right? You will go into the opposite direction, which is going low, because you may get addicted to it, right? At the same time, getting addicted, it depends on your own strength, right? Yeah. Weed also, there is also weed, right? Weed is also very addictive in my perspective, and I consider it one of the most dangerous drugs, because you can get so sensitive with it that you get actually addicted, and you will think exactly this. You will say, okay, weed won't harm me, and it's possible not to harm you, but at the same time it also creates brain damage, I think. But it also have positive effects, like killing cancer cells that are into your body, but it's also addictive, right? So my recommendation would be, don't be addicted to anything, be free, right? So yeah, guys, the message is try, but don't get attached to it. I love you guys. This is my perspective on drugs. Yeah, just for you to know, I quit drugs. I feel that they are not in alignment anymore, but somehow I appreciate the fact that I had the experience with them, because it showed me that the reality is never as we see it, right? And actually we really do have the potential of achieving that state of bliss without drugs, because you may have heard me speak of the pineal gland, which is connected to our third eye, and actually the pineal gland creates DMT naturally when you are really moving into the present moment, when you are really connected, right? So yeah, the natural way is the best way. Drugs are all chemical substances that can damage you, but at the same time the positive fact is that they can show you a reality that is not based on society standards, and really take it to the next level, but at the same time it may be dangerous. So it all depends to you. Okay guys, see ya.